Rays getting the series started tonight at American Family Field. Milwaukee comes in at 3-0, while Tampa is 1-2. Brewers did much of their damage in a season-opening sweep of the White Sox with their offense, pushing across 29 runs. Also getting really strong pitching performances the first two games for manager Pat Murphy. The way they play offense and really defense, just tough teams to deal with.
This is kind of what we want to create here, is that we're never out of a game. We're not giving up. We're going to continue to play, and we know we're only a couple pitches away, no matter what the score is.
Again, it's Brewers and Rays tonight at American Family Field. Turning the Bucks, their miserable season continued yesterday with a double-digit loss to the Clippers. They were officially eliminated from playoff contention. Now 16 games below 500. It'll be the first postseason without Milwaukee in it in a decade. They're going to be in action tomorrow night against Dallas. Meanwhile, a pair of Wisconsin players have signaled their intention to enter the transfer portal. Sophomores Jack Robinson and Ricardo Greppi both headed elsewhere. Neither were part of the regular rotation last two seasons.
Everyone should feel confident about their path forward. Exact Sciences has teamed up with UW Athletics to help promote eradicating cancer by preventing it, detecting it earlier, and guiding personalized treatment. The Exact Sciences Athletes Program is unique as it connects UW student athletes with Exact Sciences' work to provide breakthroughs in cancer care and treatment. Exact Sciences and UW Athletics, helping raise cancer awareness to make a difference in the Madison community. Learn more at exactsciences.com.
The Wisconsin men's hockey team is prepping for their first Frozen Four in 16 years. They're going to be heading to Las Vegas next week to face North Dakota in one of the semifinals. The other side of the bracket features Michigan and Denver. And Packers coach Matt LaFleur spoke at the NFL spring meetings this morning. First time he's addressed the media since the end of the season. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil-Pritt.
It was more of the same. They kind of were pesky for 3 straight games. They drew 10 walks on opening day. They put up, I think, 6 runs then in the second game, and then obviously had a 6-run 8th inning yesterday. Christian Yelich with the big homer. It wasn't just the homer, though. It was Sal Frelick having 9 pitch at-bats. It was Blake Perkins, drawing a walk in a big spot. Luis Rengifo getting that 8th inning to Christian Yelich with a big hit. So this is what we saw from them last year when they won 97 games. So it's not entirely surprising considering the lineup's basically the same as last year, but it was still an impressive offensive performance. You can put the White Sox caveat on there, but look, like they threw good arms. Shane Smith's a good arm. Kay from the left side looked good. They've got some nasty dudes in the bullpen. So, what else do you want them to do besides beat up on the White Sox?
This is kind of what we want to create here, is that we're never out of a game. We're not giving up. We're going to continue to play. We know we're only a couple pitches away, no matter what the score is. What was the worst score? 7-2.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
A little bit from Kurt Hogue on Foul Territory earlier today. Just kind of summarizing the Brewers opening weekend. The White Sox aren't very good, but what more could the Brewers have done? Swept them, scored 1 million runs, came back from a 5-run deficit yesterday in the 8th inning, the 6th, 7th, the 8th inning. I mean, they scored a couple of times throughout. And then, of course, Pat Murphy talking about the type of baseball they like to play, what they're trying to build, what they've tried to establish in Milwaukee. That's where we'll begin tonight. Going to talk a lot of Brewers. I do want to mix in some other things because the college basketball was amazing. I don't have a ton to say about I keep saying the college basketball, about the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. If you want to talk about it and you have takes, I want to give you at least a segment. If you're a big-time college basketball person, you want to talk about Dan Hurley or Illinois or Michigan or any of the games, I'm going to carve out a little time for that just in case you have some things you want to add. My commentary will be rather limited. I watched a good handful of the games, didn't watch every single one. The Duke-UConn game yesterday obviously was incredible. So we'll make some time for that. Matt LaFleur spoke at the league meetings earlier today. We're going to do that towards the end of the show. There was a chance that if Matt LaFleur didn't say anything, probably wouldn't have made the show tonight just because the Brewers have won 3 straight and it's the beginning of baseball season. But Matt LaFleur did say a couple things that I want to talk about and address. So we'll do that in the second hour. Oh, and the ABS. I want to carve out a separate segment aside from the Brewers just to talk about that because that was quite the experience this weekend, watching all of the challenges, and they played out in lots of different ways and lots of different games. So that's kind of what's on tap tonight. And you're welcome to join in on any of it. 608-321-1670, the live stream on our Wisco Sports Zone app, YouTube, Facebook. My Twitter is @WiscoGrant. Lots of ways to join in the game. As we discussed on Thursday, after the Brewers opening day win, reacting to one game can be really difficult. And I'm not going to act like reacting to 3 games is that much better in a 162 game sample. But I mean, 3 games versus 1, that is quite the jump in sample size. Nothing from the opening weekend is going to be fully reflective of the season writ large by the end of it, because as we remember last year, the Brewers looked as bad as you can look for the first 4 games, and then they turn out to win 97 games. So you do never know. But as I said on opening day, and as we discussed on Thursday, it kind of just looks like the 2025 Brewers took a couple months off. They just paused, and then they're right back at it. They look like the same team. Some new faces. Yeah, Freddie Peralta out. Brandon Sproat in. Caleb Durbin to Boston. David Hamilton in at third base. It is David, right? I'm so self-conscious because I feel like I've biffed that name a couple of times. But Hamilton, let's just say for now, until I can fact-check myself, in at third base. A new reliever here and there. You know, Mizorowski is now the ace and not the fun kind of story, last guy in the rotation, young guy getting some seasoning after being added at the major league level in the middle of the year. So some new faces. But so far, this team looks kind of like a carbon copy of last year's team. The same exact ethos, right? I was listening. In fact, yesterday I was fishing a lot because it was so nice out. But interesting. A lot of times I'll fish with like a little hip pack. I'm wading in the river, a little hip pack or a chest pack. I just went full backpack yesterday. Kind of like it. It might become my new thing. I just put my phone in my backpack in a pocket, and I was just listening to the game. And it was Lane Grindle and Josh Mauer on the radio all weekend because Levering was doing TV. And they kept hammering yesterday. I didn't listen to the radio Thursday or Friday. Or Thursday, Saturday. I only listened to yesterday. So I don't know if this was a theme throughout the weekend, but yesterday it was really obvious. Lane and Josh just hammered it over and over and over again. You can't count this team out just like last year. Well, we learned last year this team is never out of a game. Well, we were last year. Even as Brandon Sproat's just selling in the first inning. Walk, grand slam. The game before it even started, before he ever recorded an out, the Brewers are down 4-1. And Lane Grindle and Josh Mauer are almost not celebrating, but they're like, this is fine. This is a big deal at all. Oh, and here comes Pat Murphy. What a nice show of leadership to come out and pat the young man on the ass. You know what I mean? Like they were unfazed by it all. I mean, it was almost too much. It's like, guys, I do want a little tinge of negativity here. There's not an out. It's been recorded by Brandon Sproat, and they're down 4-0. But Grindle and Mauer are like, nah, we've watched this team. We watched them last year. You know they're capable of coming back. Not a problem. No issue. And then, of course, they did come back. But this team looks like the exact same team as last year. We watched Chad Patrick on Saturday. I don't think he pitched all that well. I'm sure Pat Murphy would have loved Chad Patrick to get 2 more outs and clear the 5th inning. But it worked out. It wasn't the prettiest performance. Chad Patrick much better as a reliever down the stretch last year. But we couldn't wait for the Brewers to replace him in the starting rotation in the first couple of months of last season. It's like enough of Chad. One of these other guys needs to get healthy so they can send Chad Patrick back down. I don't think he was great. He gave up at least 1 hit in 4 of the 5 innings he pitched. He didn't complete the 5th, but he gave up a hit in that 5th inning before he was pulled. He gave up hits in 4 or 5 innings. I don't think he looked all that great, but when it didn't matter. The Brewers won. The 2nd inning in Saturday's game, much like I think the 2nd or maybe the 3rd inning on opening day in Thursday's game, they strung together a very Brewers inning. Fly out, strikeout, double, walk. Infield single turned into a run on a throwing error by the pitcher. Like that's Brewer ball. That's the type of thing they want to do. And then yesterday, as I said, they fall behind 4-0, and then they're behind 7-2. They come back to win in the 8th inning, and Grindle and Mauer the whole game on the radio. No problem. No issue at all. Well, Brandon Sproat, we're going to learn a lot about this young man, and here comes Pat Murphy to give him some words of encouragement. Just tell him, now just restart the game. You're down 4-0, but now just a fresh start. Like, it was so, like, nobody was fazed because of a lot of the comebacks and a lot of the types of games that we saw last season when the Brewers would fall behind early and they would just chip away, woodpecker away, as Pat Murphy said. And which is a little funny. I don't know that they came back in as many games last season as it feels like they did. I think they made it into June or maybe even early July before they came back from a deficit of 2 or more runs. But the second half of the season and in those winning streaks, and especially that 8-run comeback they had against the Reds, like those are the games that stick in our mind. So it feels like they came back in a ton of games last year. I don't know that the total number is as high as maybe we remember, or as high as the number, that we feel it. Well, they came back all the time. Maybe late in the year, there were a couple of obvious ones. I don't know that they were a big comeback team last year, but that's what it feels like. And certainly yesterday, it's not just what it felt like. That's exactly what they did. They were behind 4-0 and then behind 7-2. I hate the bingo card analogy. I said this on Thursday because the bingo card analogy is so overplayed. I feel like every other day I'm popping up Twitter and I see someone tweet, when there's a surprising piece of news. Well, I didn't have that on my bingo card. That wasn't on my 2026 bingo card. That wasn't on my Green Bay Packers bingo card. What a surprise. I didn't see this coming. Didn't have that on my bingo card. I just feel like it's a massive cliche. It's really over. But it's not bad. It's just I see it all the time, so I get a little annoyed, so I hate to perpetuate it. But if you had a bingo card with all of the squares of the 2025 Brewers team, every single square on your bingo card was some defining feature or trait or trend or theme or moment that defined last year's Brewers team, I feel like through the first 3 games, you'd pretty near have a blackout. Like, we've crossed out almost every space in just 3 games. Even the comments from the players after the game, I feel like I heard all this stuff last year. Here's Christian Yelich. This is a combination of 2 of his answers, but he was asked about their style of offense, the types of players, the types of at-bats they're stringing together. So this is a little bit of an amalgamation. I might have taken 2 or 3 Christian Yelich answers and smashed them together, but this is a little bit from Christian Yelich after the game yesterday. And I feel like we heard him say these exact same things last year, probably many times.
Basically everybody was talking about, like, we're fine, we're going to be in this thing, like, just chip away. Like, when you're down 4-0 in the first, it seems like a lot, but you still haven't even hit yet, and you still have 9 innings to make it a game. So the game's not really decided yet, and you're not trying to get 4 right away. It's like, hey, if we get 1 here, 2 here, like, you feel really good about where you're going to be at in the day. And the guys just kept battling, and that's why it was such a cool one. It's just quality at bat after quality at bat after quality at bat, and lots of pressure. Is like, even if you get out, don't be an easy out. Make them earn it. Long at bats. They end up taking their toll, and you end up getting the results a couple innings later if you don't get them immediately. If you just keep making them make stressful pitches or have to make quality pitches to get you out. If you can do that throughout your lineup, you're in a really good spot, and just guys just passing the baton to each other, and it eventually paid off for us with all those quality at bats there in the 8th inning, and gave us the lead.
So I smile and laugh a little bit when Yelich said, well, even if we're not scoring runs, you want to make the pitcher work. Because something that really annoys me, and this is a me problem, I think I'm just a negative baseball watcher. When I'm watching games, I'm almost happier when I have something to complain about. It's just how baseball works for me. I think some people feel that way about Matt LaFleur and the Packers. Most of them call and comment on Bill's show every day. I think that's where those people hang out. I'm a little bit more negative about my baseball. I just sometimes want to bitch. That's why having a baseball game every day is nice. I'm going to have something to bitch about. So I bitch about this a lot when I'm listening to games on the radio, especially when I was listening yesterday. The Brewers are down 4-0, and then they're behind. I think the White Sox got both of those runs back, so then it was 6-2, and then 7 I don't remember all the iterations of the different deficits the Brewers faced. But through it all, when it felt like the Brewers were going to have no chance to win, I had to listen to Lane Grindle and Josh Mauer, who are both good. I shouldn't say I had to listen, but this just doesn't line up with the way that I consume baseball. Listening to Josh Mauer and Lane Grindle, well, the Brewers might not be scoring, but they're making Anthony K work. And sometimes when I hear that, I'm like, when the Brewers put 2 on and fail to score, but they stretch out an inning and they put together some at-bats and they don't score. And then I got to listen to Lane Grindle or Mauer. Well, they're making K work. And they, in defense of that comment, they did make him work. He went 4 2/3, and he threw 92 pitches. So they did in fact make him work, even though that's not something I often want to hear when the Brewers are getting run off the field. And that's what it felt like yesterday. It felt like they were getting run off the field until all of a sudden they weren't. But Yelich is correct. Here's a comment from Trevor McGill along those same lines about the way specifically they play offense. It wasn't just about the offense yesterday. There were some good pitching performances as well, and throughout the whole weekend, but just choosing to focus how they chipped away on offense. This is Trevor McGill.
Trevor, what do you think when you're watching the way this offense...
Shout out Kurt Hogue with the question, by the way, if you can't hear, is just asking about the way that the Brewers play offense to Trevor McGill.
Trevor, what do you think when you're watching the way this offense makes other pitchers have to work?
I imagine it's pretty damn frustrating having to throw 7 pitches at every dang hitter. definitely wears on some guys, and that's kind of just what we do here is never quit and put together great at bats and get what you get and go with it. So proud of those guys too. They pull together.
So I just love the first sentence there out of Trevor McGill. I would imagine it's pretty dang frustrating to have to throw 7 pitches at least to every single hitter. I do think the Brewers just on balance probably annoy the living hell out of their opponents. There's not a lot of quick at bats. And Pat Murphy has vocalized that and articulated that in a million different ways. The woodpecker moniker, probably the most accurate. I just feel like this Brewers team through 3 games showed you a little bit of everything they showed you last year. I would bet against this season resulting in 97 wins. I don't even know if they're going to win 85. Could hit the fan in 2 weeks and the season could be a disaster. The season's just so long that it's not worthwhile trying to predict or trying to forecast anything on March 30th. But through 3 games, if you had a checklist, it's like, well, the things that we would want to see through 3 games, bang, 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 bang. I mean, you would check all the boxes. One more comment. I saved this. I was watching MLB Network this morning. Jason Stark was on. What's their morning show? Not High Heat. I can't remember what show it was, but I DVR'd this because I wanted to go back and get the sound. This is Jason Stark of The Athletic describing what he sees from the Brewers so far this year.
It doesn't matter who comes and who goes, especially who goes. They're just still the same team. And, they're interesting because, like, Pat Murphy has that old country flavor to him, but this is a very analytically driven team, very carefully and shrewdly put together by Matt Arnold and that front office, and their pieces always fit. There's just a plan every night. There's a plan with every move they make, and they're another team. They're really fun. It's hard to say how they're doing it sometimes, but they put the bat on the ball. They've always got the right arm in the right spot. I'm not doubting them ever again. I meant to pick them first. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So that's, again, Jason Stark, one of the senior columnists for The Athletic, longtime baseball writer. I think that second half is something that I think we all know and that we all appreciate. We maybe don't discuss it enough. It's a fun-ass brand of baseball to watch. I think baseball's in an awesome spot, and the last couple of years have been great for baseball. I think the pitch clock has been a godsend. Even if we don't really realize it, even if we don't think about it a lot, the fact that I can watch a baseball game in 2.5 hours instead of 3 hours and 15 minutes, it's not something we think about anymore, but I think that's been a godsend for the product. I think it's shortened the really bad games and had little to no impact on the good ones. I think, and I as a Brewers fan, I hate this, but all of the massive stars, for the most part, being in the right markets. The Dodgers, as much as it seems unfair, and as much as it's bitten the Brewers on the rear end because they lost him in the playoffs again, the Dodgers having all that star power is probably great for baseball. And the Mets and the Yankees having a lot of star power, probably great for baseball. Philly, much of the same. The World Series last year was outstanding. I think baseball's in a great spot. It's not perfect. They still have little tweaking, some improvements to make. I think one thing that baseball should strive to fix or should strive to foster, more balls in play. How do we get fewer strikeouts, fewer walks? I don't think walks are necessarily bad, but they're not getting anybody juices flowing. How do we cut down on the strikeouts and get more balls in play? More hitting, running, fielding, stealing, throwing. How do we get more of that? Well, the Brewers do it a ton. It's a really fun product. I was texting about that with my dad yesterday. It's like, how about this freaking team? They're the same team as last year. And he's just like, they're so fun to watch because the league got so strikeout, home run, walk heavy. It's fun to watch a team hit and field and run. It's a fun brand of baseball on top of what's proven to be a successful brand of baseball. We're only 3 games in, but certainly have a lot more to celebrate than to complain about or to worry about through just those first 3 games, albeit against a terrible White Sox opponent. Although Pat Murphy, of course, after the game saying, well, those are 3 good pitchers. And I agree. Bieber's not a bad arm. Kay is not a bad arm. And the offense was able to get it done against some high-level relievers, too. Sir Anthony Dominguez is no slap. And they put it together against him in the 8th inning yesterday. Some of the Brewers relievers look great. We have a lot to get into with the Brewers. A piece of breaking news, maybe should have mentioned before now, the Brewers have come to one of those early extensions with Cooper Pratt. Bob Nightingale, the first to break the story. He tweets, the Milwaukee Brewers are on the verge of finalizing an 8-year deal for slightly more than $50 million with 21-year-old prized shortstop prospect Cooper Pratt. Had not played above Class AA until this year. The deal will include 2 options for about $15 million a year. Even if Cooper Pratt is just fine or even not all that great, that contract is really team friendly. So that's an exciting piece of news. And we can also talk about like ABS. There's a million different baseball things I want to discuss. So we'll break here and I'll get to your phone calls on the other side. If you want to talk Brewers, 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
It doesn't matter who comes and who goes, especially who goes. They're just still the same team. And, you know, they're interesting because, like, Pat Murphy has that old country flavor to him. But this is a very analytically driven team, very carefully and shrewdly put together by Matt Arnold and that front office. And their pieces always fit. There's just a plan every night. There's a plan with every move they make. And they're another team. They're really fun. It's hard to say how they're doing it sometimes, but they put the bat on the ball. They've always got the right arm in the right spot. I'm not doubting them ever again. I meant to pick them first. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Jason Stark from The Athletic on MLB Network earlier today. I just love that soundbite because he hits 2 or 3 things that I think are all important. And I also do get a kick of when he says, it doesn't matter who comes and goes, especially who goes, because they ship out a lot more good players than they bring in. It's a roster that's very smartly constructed. Everybody is there because they have a specific set of traits or skills, or they play a very specific role, especially defensively, or they have certain identifiers in their swing or in their offensive game that adds to the overall picture. And that second thing, they're fun. It's a fun brand of baseball to watch. We talk about all the improvements that have been made in baseball, the pitch clock most notably, which I don't even think we think about, but we're reaping the benefits of the pitch clock. We're not even realizing it. And I do think Major League Baseball, as Mark comments on the live stream on YouTube, says MLB is better than the NBA. I think baseball has positioned itself in a much better place and a better trajectory than the NBA right now, which 5 years ago, I know we all have our different opinions on different leagues. I wouldn't have said that 5 years ago. Now, I don't know what the lockout could do. The lockout could really hurt baseball's upward trajectory. Although I don't know that the NBA is about to have some massive turn upward either. Feels like the NFL and everybody else is fighting for second place, a distant second place. But I do love that soundbite from Jason Stark because he points out, hey, it's fun to watch the players hit the ball and then run around the bases. Not jog around the bases, although home runs are great too. Those are fun too. But ask Cubs fans how much fun they had yesterday. Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. It was a very fun game. I listened to Locked On Cubs with Sam and Matt earlier today on my morning walk, if you must know. Not important, but why leave it out of the story? Why leave it out of the anecdote? They're like, it was a boring game. But Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. Home runs by themselves, they're not much. It's fun to see the ball be in play and to watch the players run around the bases and for the fielders to throw it. And then like that thing. The Brewers have a lot more than the average, I think, baseball team in that regard. All right, to your phone calls. Thank you for waiting through the break. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Brant, what an opening series. Just 162-0. Why not?
It's so funny, Conan. I know we talked about this on Friday. When your baseball team wins on opening day, feels like nothing bad will ever happen. And when you lose on opening day, it feels like the season's like already dead and cooked and over. Getting an opening weekend sweep is... I'm thrilled to watch. Who's playing shortstop tonight? Hamilton's at shortstop. Lockridge isn't right. This lineup tonight, it's actually kind of gross. Don't care because it feels like the Brewers will never lose.
And, hey, our lineup yesterday was pretty gross. First Sunday lineup of the year. I know Chuck Freeman was probably throwing bobbleheads around his apartment in Lamira.
Yes.
But they got it done. Gary Sanchez, Corp, hitting a home run. You got to love it.
I love when Gary gets a hold of one, man. There's Cone, maybe you agree with this. My whole lifetime of watching baseball, there's not a player on every team every year to fill this role, but a lot of times there's a guy on some teams who it's like, your job is to hit tanks off of lefties, and we will put you in a position to do that, and that's all you're really there for. You're not fast. You're not special defensively. You are here to do a very specific job against a specific opponent. And Gary coming in yesterday in his first at bat back in Milwaukee and doing exactly that. There's something very funny and very satisfying about that to me.
Yeah, so funny. He was looking pretty nimble at first base on the defensive side too. He was getting up for some balls.
He had that ball hit between the gap later in the game between third and short. And I don't know that I've ever seen a player get down the first base line that slowly. And then the Brewers challenged it, and the first baseman brought his foot off the bag. But I'm like, I don't know that there's many other players in baseball who can't beat that out. He was moving like an 18-wheeler down the first base line.
I was going to bring that up. I've never
bad.
seen someone move that slow. Manny Machado beats that ball out.
So it's a funny thing when you're watching a game because the camera pans to the left side of the infield in such a way where you lose sight of the runner. And then the defender throws the ball. So as the ball is coming back across with the camera, there's this certain reveal of like, how far is the guy down the line? And it was almost laughable because the camera pans back into the base and he's not even close. You're like, oh my God. Like I thought it would be close, or I thought he'd beat it out. He wasn't even close. But the first baseman pulled his foot off the bag. I enjoy the entertainment value and the humor of Gary Sanchez. Thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christian Yelich back? ?
He might just be. He started slowly, a couple of bats on opening day, but if you look at what he's hitting so far, I'm not going to give you average, but isn't he like 5 or 6 out of 10 so far in his at-bats? He's been great.
Yeah, probably. Rested up after that Dodgers series where he did nothing. So,
he had a long offseason. His offseason started at the end of that Cubs series. Really, like after the first game of the Cubs series. Yeah, he's hitting 600, so he must be 6 of 10. Wow. For him.
And who do we got this week?
Tonight would be, you mean for opponents? This is not a complaint. is a little bit of a complaint. Now I can't even remember. Do they have not the Angels tonight? The Cubs have the Angels. Damn it. Why can't I remember who they have tonight? Tampa Bay, and then they go to Boston. So 3 straight interleague series to begin the year. That's kind of not, I don't really love that. That feels, I don't like that, but they're 3-0. So we'll wait to complain about that until they start losing.
Yeah, interleague play, stupid. Bring back stacking the divisional games.
I don't know why we haven't played the Reds yet. Appreciate it, Cone. Thanks for the call. Why haven't the Reds played the Brewers yet? I know we're only 1 series in, but if not the first series, it should be the second or by the end of the week. Said it's interleague play. I saw a tweet opening weekend. I think a lot of the opening weekend series were interleague play. I guess I could pull up the schedule, or you could take my word for it. I'll pull up the schedule real quick. We can just run through the series. But opening weekend, so the finale's yesterday. Kansas City, Atlanta, interleague. Texas, Philly, interleague. Cincinnati, Boston, interleague. LA, Houston's AL. So Milwaukee, Chicago, interleague. Tampa Bay, St. Louis, interleague. So 5 or 6 of the opening weekend series. And I saw someone tweet out that stat. It's like opening weekend and 5 of the 6 series are interleague play. And it's the Alex Jones video of him going liberal, 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 liberal. It does feel that I don't love it. I don't love big time opening day. And it's, an uncommon American League opponent. Although White Sox, there's a little juice there because it's Milwaukee, Chicago. And I heard some White Sox cheers and chants in the ballpark yesterday. A text, and I've seen a comment about this on the live stream as well. Luke on the Dirt Roads pointing out Badgers men's hockey is Vegas bound, the Frozen Four. Eat S, Minnesota. I'm not going to read that. Shout out to the UW River Falls ladies on their 3rd straight D-hockey title. Also, it's still way too early to come to any conclusions about Brewers baseball. Oh, thank you for the statistics, Luke. 1/54th of the way or less than 2%. But winning is fun, and hopefully they can fix Sproat, but I believe in the pitching lab. Yeah, now I'm extra intrigued to see Sproat the next time out because I think his stuff is good. I don't know if it was nerves or if the White Sox had a good plan. I think on the 3rd day, the White Sox were like, hey, just don't swing. Don't bail out these pitchers. Just let them let's see if this youngster will, pitch himself out of the game. And he did. But you're absolutely right, Luke. And those of you who've commented on the live stream, that's a cool story. I'm not super into Badger hockey. It's not that I don't care. It's just I can only watch so many things. I have been watching a little bit more NHL. So to the hockey crowd, I feel like I'm taking out some NBA viewership, plugging in some hockey viewership. So that's been fun. Not that this is going to become a hub for hockey analysis. But if you want Badgers hockey analysis, Todd Molesky from the State Journal Badger Extra was on with Bill earlier today, beginning of hour number 2. So you can find that in the podcast. It's very good. Great info. With only 2 hours tonight, we're going to stick to baseball, March Madness, Matt LaFleur in hour number 2. And I want to talk about ABS coming up next because I have some thoughts, and I think with many of you, they will be unpopular. So we'll do that next. But just a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Good vibes, 2-2. Fly ball to deep right! It is way back and gone! Yelly delivers in the clutch.
Hell of a moment yesterday, reminiscent of Vogelbach a couple of years ago. A game you thought was over. Big spot, pinch hit, and just pissed on it. So we're talking about the Brewers plenty tonight. I do want to get to the Packers now, number 2. Matt LaFleur speaking earlier today at the league meetings. Brian Gutekunst as well. Brian Gutekunst, I guess, gave you an update on Micah Parsons. It's going well. Okay, probably could have guessed that. They like Zaire Franklin a lot as a player. Okay. Made a trade for him. Could have expected that. So nothing crazy from Brian Gutekunst. Matt LaFleur had a couple things to say that I want to discuss. There's a world in which he didn't say anything interesting. We don't even address it tonight because it's a 2-hour show, and I think we all have baseball front of mind currently. But I do want to get to that at 5:30. Your phone calls, continuously welcome as well. March Madness on the table. Badger hockey, I'm not going to have much to add, but more than willing to give you a minute or two to fire off a take or to say something about Badger hockey as well. I want to talk about ABS. These players' challenges. I am against it for reasons that I have explained. I'm also very open to the idea that in a year or two, it just becomes commonplace and baseball's better for it, like with the pitch clock. But as of right now, and I'm doing a show today, right now on March 30th, I don't like it. That's just me. You can feel however you want. I don't think it's a black and white situation where I'm right about ABS, and if you don't agree, you are wrong. I just think it's a matter of taste at this point. I think the thing that annoys me about ABS, or the biggest thing that annoys me about ABS, is if you tell someone, I don't like the challenges. I don't think we need the challenges. A lot of those folks will tell you, well, don't you want to get the call right? Isn't it important? We've got to get the call right. Don't you feel like don't you think we got to get it right? I'm like, no, not necessarily. No. I am tuning into a baseball game to get this, watch a baseball game. Hitting, pitching, fielding, running. That's why I have tuned into the proceedings. When I pull up Brewers TV on my cable provider tonight, which is very easy to do. I know everyone flipped a tit about it for the last 2 months. It's very easy to do. Or I'll listen on the radio. Also very easy to do. Or I'll pull up the Major League Baseball app on my phone. I paid the $5 a month subscription so I can get all of the radio feeds for free. Maybe I'll do that. Lots of easy ways to watch and listen. You people had a meltdown for 2 months. Very easy. When I tune on the game tonight, tune in, tune on, turn on, however I do it, it's because I want to watch or listen to the baseball game. Played by the baseball players, managed by the baseball managers. I have never, and I hope that you never, sit down to watch a game or attend a game and you settle into your seat and say, oh man, let's see what this ump's got tonight. I will sit down tonight and be like, let's see what this Harrison fella's made of. Yesterday, curious to see what Brandon Sproat's got today. Jefferson Caro in his major league debut. Let's see what the kid's got. I don't tune into games or attend games to see. Let's see what Brian Knight. Let's see if this guy can let's see if he's dialed in tonight. You know what I mean? Of course not. Now, of course, I am not stubborn. I'm mostly fair. Maybe sometimes I'll play up a take because it's a radio show. It's got to be a little entertaining, but I'm fair. You do need a certain level of competence from the umpire that is required for the baseball game in order for pitching and hitting and fielding and running to proceed and to be good. You do need an umpire that doesn't completely suck. Okay, I understand that. But to me, 2 or 3 or even 4 borderline pitches over the course of 2.5 hours, that's not a problem for me. And it never really has been. For me, you don't have to agree. I'm just telling you how I feel. I think, to psychoanalyze you, a lot of people have a problem with a small handful of borderline calls every night because you need to complain about the refs. And that's just a human condition of sports. At the high school game, you got to yell about the ref. At the college game, we got boned by the refs. When you watch your football team, I can't believe those holding penalties. We got boned by the refs. You just need to complain about the refs. And if you can't complain about the refs, there's something in your psyche that's missing. You have this itch that you need to scratch, and the officials in your sporting event allow you to scratch it. And that's what we're doing here. That's what I think you need. I don't need it. I think a lot of you need it. And that's fine. I'm allowing me again to psychoanalyze you a little bit. So in order to fix this problem that you feel there is, 4, 5, 6 borderline pitches a night, 2.5 hours, not missing by a mile, but missing by a 0.3 inches. That's a problem. Everyone decided that's a problem. So we've created this system now where each team gets 2 challenges and you got to tap the helmet and it's very procedural. This is 2 minutes from Red Sox Reds. Eugenio Suarez challenging back-to-back pitches. So let's just listen to this. I want you to experience this if you didn't see or hear this.
Game to this point. Here comes the 1-2. And in there! Struck him out! Now they're going to challenge this.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
Look down. Let's see.
It is a ball, but barely.
0.3 inches, by the way, is a fingernail.
Not missing by much.
No.
One thing's talking about the ABS challenge. You might have to figure out these umpires pretty good. 0.3 of an inch.
So 2-2. ABS powered by T-Mobile. He'll try again. And that's in there, and he's going to challenge that one as well. Another challenge at home plate.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
I think that will get the call.
Let us see. That's a ball. ABS powered.
Cheering.
An inch off.
Less than an inch. It wasn't an inch.
We saw a challenge last night from Roman Anthony go his way. That kind of
now
really
2 challenges.
The
there must be some sort of payoff. What does Suarez do
Wants
next
to try
here?
to finish off Suarez.
Man, it really has changed the game. So it's a full count, bases loaded, 2 down. Back-to-back challenges won by Suarez.
What did he do with it?
And the 3-2 from Watson. Up the middle, little tapper. Meyer across his body. Got it there in time.
Nothing. He did nothing with it. We wasted 2 minutes. We did this WWE hokey pokey charade where the crowd got to cheer at a Jumbotron for less than an inch, and both. The first one was a fingernail. So if you get your jollies, screw the umpire. I guess if you get enjoyment from that, I'm happy for you. I just want to watch the guy swing the bat. Eugenio Suarez, swing the bat, get a hit, do something. Field, pitch, run, that thing. And the ref in that instance was CB Buckner, who's terrible. So I said a year or two ago, we don't need a challenge system. Just get rid of the 2 umps that are sizably worse than everyone else. We got rid of Angel Hernandez. Now we just need to get rid of CB Buckner. We could have just told CB Buckner, go be a family man. But instead, we had to create this thing, which really doesn't solve the problem you think exists, because now I hear people saying, well, you need to make every pitch challengeable in the 9th inning because you don't want, if you run out of challenges, you don't want to be without a challenge in the most important. So now we're just going to keep tweaking and adding, and we're going to tack on a new rule to this rule, and we're just going to go down this never-ending spiral like we are in the NFL. And if you like that, fine, that's your opinion. That's a fine opinion. I'm just telling you how I feel. 608-321-1670. We got loaded phone lines. Wisco Sports Show. Who's that?
Well, Grant, I hope you can hear me tonight.
Who is this?
This would be Tim from
I was going to say, your delivery sounds like Tim, but you sound so clear. You almost sound like a different person. What's up, Tim?
Well, I'm not calling you from a hollow. So
gotcha. That makes sense.
So that's going to help. I think you're wrong on this. And I'll tell you the reason why. You brought it up.
Okay.
I think you were initially against the pitch clock, weren't you?
Well, why do you got to bring that up? Look at Tim. Everyone's got a great memory. Yeah, I was against the pitch clock. Yes.
Oh, okay. The pitch clock has brought me back to the game I used to love, because instead of being a 3.5, 4-hour game, it's now a 2 or 2.5 hour game. And I don't have to listen to a bunch of drivel. I can concentrate on the game, and they can tell interesting stories when things are going, sideways, as they always do in some of these games.
Yeah.
So this is going to, you brought up Angel Hernandez, the most famous ump for horrible pitches. Guys are now coming up, are now not going to just get promoted because of longevity, or they've got the right whatever card.
So you like this because there's going to be some sort of public system where we can see how well these umpires are doing.
Absolutely, and we'll get you'll have the opportunity to get rid of the bad ones, much like the NFL needs to go to full-time only NFL referees. I think if they did that, they would also call a much more consistent game across the board. So hopefully that's going to happen as well. But this is just another nail in the coffin of bad umpires who want to show, and you know how many of them there are out there that want to show that they are the center of the universe.
Sure.
Now, there's not all of them like that, but there are a goodly number who make the game long, boring, and controversial.
Sure.
This is going to help get rid of them.
So Tim, I hate to do this to you. I got to play host here because we got loaded phone lines. You made a great point that I want to directly address before we go any farther. That might help. Like maybe it gets to the point where CB Buckner, who by the way missed 7 more balls and strikes this weekend than anybody else, he's in a league of his own, and we've known that forever. I'm not convinced this is going to help get rid of anybody. Maybe it does. I don't know, but to treat that as, well, this is going to get rid of the bad umps, that's not written down anywhere. Now we do get a record, we get a public, but again, I don't get my jollies off of that. In all of these challenges, I'm pulling for the ump because I want the ump to be good at their job so we don't have to mess around with stuff like this. So maybe it helps us get rid of CB Buckner, who's really in a league of his own as a bad, spotty ball strike guy. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's that?
Hey, Grant. Hey, it's Justin on French Island.
Hey, Justin. What's going on?
Hey, so I just had to call because I was thinking about this all weekend. So, I do not like this ABS. because like you see all this online hate for these umpires. Like it's more used to like publicly shame these people. Like, how would you like that at your job? All the decisions you make throughout the day, everybody constantly criticizing everything you do, trying to, oh, look at the guy, he's terrible at his job. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they enjoy it for the wrong reason is all I'm saying.
I love this phone call, Justin. Thank you for calling on French Island. I'm going to leave it there. I think you're in the minority, Justin. I think a lot of people think it's great that we're shaming these umps. I'm probably more in the middle. I mean, you're talking about these umps like they're your sons. And I'm not that emotionally protective of the umpires. I want them to be good at their jobs so we don't need to mess around with all this. Like, I get a good amount of satisfaction when I see an ump scorecard after a game and, you know, Guccione or whoever's throwing a random name. It's like, man, he called a great game. Like, that's what I want. So we don't have to waste our time with any of this. Although it is making for a stellar radio topic, I will say. Wisco Sports Show, who's this?
Grant, you host a daily talk show.
Correct.
And so there has to be some acknowledgement of the way that you frame these opinions. There's bad process kind of built in, right? Because the example that you just showed, right? If there's 3 straight or 2 straight challenged pitches and then the dude absolutely bangs a homer, would you change your opinion? Or you just pick a different example?
I don't know. I mean, this example that Eugenio Suarez example works really, really well. I just don't want the game to turn into an online bingo game where we put the card and the numbers up on the screen. And I don't know. Vagabond, I want to watch baseball. That's it. I want to watch you hit and field and run. That's why I've tuned into the game.
Well, like, we can acknowledge that like 90% of the time, I don't know if 90%, there's probably a caller out there that could tell me exact percentage because baseball guys have always loved bingo cards. There are literally guys out there with their kids that go and fill out their own score. There are dudes that like live off of scoring their own game. So I object to the idea that baseball people and bingo people don't have a Venn diagram. But lastly, switching topics entirely. Grant, I need your 15 to 20 second update on where you stand on the Hurley headbutt. We can talk about officials getting in coaches' faces. I thought it was fantastic. I think Bobby Knight throwing the chair has been an iconic moment for college basketball. I think sports need emotion and they need passion. I agree with you that this baseball change takes a little bit of that out of the game, right? We're going to get less demonstration because now we can just go to a robot instead of I think we're going to have fewer chest-to-chest spitting matches. But in the college basketball world, we had an all-time coach headbutt. Where do you stand on that one?
I will give you a very pointed and direct answer to that. As we wrap up the hour, I just want to take one more phone call on what I assume is the ABS before we take our last break. Who's this?
Grant, a great topic. I wonder what front row Amy thinks about this. This is just fascinating. What do you think, Grant? What would she think?
I mean, if you're in the ballpark and you've had a couple of pops, it would be pretty electric. You know what I mean? A close, I see the entertainment value a little bit. It seems juvenile to me. I just don't like rewarding people who want to complain about the refs. I don't like further rewarding that very bad parent behavior that's just rampant in our country. But whatever.
I know you're up against it. I got to spit a few things out. I got screwed by the refs. Finally lost an AAU game. God. The guy landed on our player. They called the foul. They said it was after the shot. Is there such a thing? I didn't think so. No.
You wanted free throws?
Right? Yeah, 3 free throws to win the game with like a few seconds left. We lost the game. That's the way it goes in AAU ball. Hey, the Kansas City Royals beat the Cardinals in '85 on a controversial call. If there was replay, the frickin' Cardinals, the hated Cardinals, would have had a World Series in '85. Everyone go look that up. So, I had an umpire once, Grant, in West Dallas back when I was 16. I just got thrown $30, go umpire kid. That was one of the hardest damn things I ever did in my life. I'd rather be a paper boy delivering the Journal Sentinel or something than do that stuff. That was tough. So these umpires, it is a tough job. It is a tough gig. I think most of the times they're right, and you're on the right side of history. I agree with you. ChatGPT disagrees with you. I agree with you.
So I can give you numbers. Maybe we can roll this over after 5 o'clock, Tony in Texas. I appreciate it. I just think we are a society of people that wants to complain about the umpires because we need that thing to complain about. And I don't like giving those people more of an outlet than they already have. I'll give you my Dan Hurley take in 2 minutes when we come back from this break, and then we'll get right back to ABS and the Brewers at 5 o'clock after Zach's update. Be right back.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Get it in. They do for Boozer. Bobbled it. Back for Sarr. Needs to get rid of it. Does for Caden. 7 seconds. Try to throw it ahead. Deflected. Stolen by Connecticut. 2 seconds. It's Mullins up top for the win. Oh, he hit it. With 3/10 of a second to go. Malachi Smith ran off the bench. That should be a technical. But with 3/10 of a second to go, Connecticut has the lead, 73-72.
And Malachi Smith's off the bench. The band's on the field. That's the Duke call. I got about 45 seconds. Look, if you hate Dan Hurley, that's great. If you love Dan Hurley, that's great. Tony in Texas asked for my take on his little headbutt, or Vagabond John did. I want to know if, did something happen in the game? Was that do they know each other? It's just a weird thing to do out of nowhere. I have no strong opinion on Dan Hurley, other than he is a topics machine. He is a reason for college basketball to be discussed on national shows, or even a show like this when the Badgers aren't involved. He's great for the sport. That is my Dan Hurley take. And F Duke. I'm happy that UConn won. And I don't even know much about Duke's personnel or their coach. Just screw them. I just hope they lose all the time. So it would have been very interesting if the ref teed him up, and then there's free throws and UConn loses, and then we could talk about whether or not the headbutt should have been that. That would have been great too. He's a content machine. I like it. Hour 2 next.
I said I can't lie. Nothing wrong with it.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are 3-0 for the second time in the last 3 seasons. They'll put that perfect mark on the line tonight when they open a series against the Rays at American Family Field. Milwaukee swept the White Sox just like they swept the Mets 2 years ago to open the season. They did it this year by scoring 29 runs over the 3 games, including 9 in a comeback win yesterday. Christian Yelich, who had what proved to be the game-winning home run in the 8th inning, was asked what's working so well with the offense right now.
It's just quality at bat after quality at bat after quality at bat, and lots of pressure. It's like if you get out, don't be an easy out. Make them earn it. Long at bats, they end up taking their toll, and you end up getting the results a couple innings later if you don't get them immediately. If you just keep making them make stressful pitches or have to make quality pitches to get you out, if you can do that throughout your lineup, you're in a really good spot.
Tonight, the Brewers going to Kyle Harrison to the mound. He went 1-1 with a 4.04 ERA in 6 starts a year ago between San Francisco and Boston. The Rays counted with Nick Martinez. The righty went 11-14 with a 4.45 ERA for the Reds last year. First pitch is set for 6:40. As for the Bucks, they're going to host the Mavericks tomorrow night at Fiserv Forum.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, Packers coach Matt LaFleur says the ability to finish games has been on the forefront of his mind this offseason. Speaking for the first time since the end of the year, he said closing out games is a mentality. It's got to be in everything that they do. Packers lost 5 straight to end the season, including blowing leads to the Bears twice. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
It was more of the same. They kind of were pesky for 3 straight games. They drew 10 walks on opening day. They put up, I think, 6 runs then in the second game, and then obviously had a 6-run 8th inning yesterday. Christian Yelich with the big homer. It wasn't just the homer, though. It was Sal Frelick having 9 pitch at-bats. It was Blake Perkins, drawing a walk in a big spot. Luis Rengifo getting that 8th inning to Christian Yelich with a big hit. So this is what we saw from them last year when they won 97 games. So it's not entirely surprising considering the lineup's basically the same as last year, but it was still an impressive offensive performance. You can put the White Sox caveat on there, but look, they threw good arms. Shane Smith's a good arm. Kay from the left side looked good. They've got some nasty dudes in the bullpen. So, what else do you want them to do besides beat up on the White Sox?
This is kind of what we want to create here, is that we're never out of a game. We're not giving up. We're going to continue to play. We know we're only a couple pitches away, no matter what the score is. What was the worst score? 7-2.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Hour number 2, the show presented by Road America, roadamerica.com. You can look at their full event schedule for the summer, bookmark which weekends or which, event. They have events big and small, whether it's the IndyCar. I want to get there. It's my goal this summer to get there for something with the vintage cars with my dad. That's my goal. So I'm trying to keep that weekend blocked off, one of the vintage weekends blocked off. Of course, you can reserve camping, get that stuff lined up as well. As it felt like maybe we had broken through to spring again, but it looks like it's going to get cold and rainy this week. So, think about warmer weather and fun summer times ahead over near Elkhart Lake at Road America, the National Park of Speed, by going online, roadamerica.com, getting your passes, bookmarking the weekend, making your plans, reserving your camping, that sort of thing. The Monday Mailbag coming up in about 45 minutes, so submit your questions, grantbills21@gmail.com. We've been discussing Brewers. We're also talking about ABS, which I think, just judging on the phone calls coming in, is the more interesting topic to many of you, which is hilarious that the Brewers could sweep on opening weekend. And a lot of Brewers fans are like, well, the White Sox stink. Of course they did. Which shows that the Brewers franchise has come a long way. They certainly look like a carbon copy so far of last year's team, which I think can only mean good things for their outlook this season. I want to talk Packers in about a half hour, but right back to your phone call, 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
First of all, nobody cares about the Brewers. Let's just make that very clear.
I don't know about that, Dave from Monona. I feel like we take a good amount of Brewers calls during baseball season on this show.
Here's the deal with all these people, all these idiot people in your generation that are having an orgasm over this balls and strikes thing. No, They should not have it ever. Should we ever enter in computers? You might as well not have no umpires and just have it up on the screen.
I think that's what people want.
Video board.
I think that's what people want. We want to turn the game over to the machines.
But of course they want it. People in this generation don't want. Of course they want. They want the easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing about sport is anticipation, the mistakes, the human element. People, we have been programming our kids to no longer have the human element. Our kids now blame officials. They blame coaches. They blame. By God, and CD Buckner, but come on, really, 1 inch or 1 fingernail?
0.3 of an inch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, CB Buckner's really bad. So if you look at like the umpire grading from the weekend, but Dave, my solution is, well, then just get rid of the umpire that's really, really bad. Take him out.
Yeah, but then again, a lot of them are bad. Just get rid of the home umpire completely. If we're going to have this crapola, then might as well just have everybody watch the video board and make it a video game. I mean, you take the human element out of it, but we gotta get the call. Yeah, I understand the call correcting. Guess what? They only do it on third strikes. If you're going to do that, they're limited or less than 3 inches.
Okay.
But my God, this generation everybody blames. They blame the umpires. They blame the officials. You got Tina in Texas. I like to ask him, what happened to your pathetic excuse of a team the first 99% of the game? The game never comes down to the last call. I'm sure your team stunk the first 99 minutes of the game. People forget about that, but no, I'm old school. You get off my lawn. It's a video game.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a video game, guess what? Then buy baseball. But I mean, again, then just get rid of it. Get rid of the home umpire and just do it up on the video board, and everybody can watch and go, and take away the human element. Yeah, I want the umpire to out safe calls and fair and foul.
Okay.
Because the mistakes are made at out safe at first base or fair and foul.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, seriously, people, 1 fingernail or 0.3 inches. Anyway, that's
swing the bat. Swing the bat. I don't want players turning this into a watching contest to see if I can outsmart the ump. I want you trying to swing and hit the ball into play and then running around the bases, not just walks and home runs, not just swinging for the fences all the time. I want to see you play baseball.
Talking about Cubs who absolutely stink, and I'm boycotting them tonight because they stink. But on a funnier note, I'll be a SOB if I didn't turn that damn hockey game off. When Wisconsin got down 3-1, I turned that thing off 10 minutes ago, and a buddy of mine texted me, and I'm going, "You got to be serious!" Thank God for the replay afterwards, the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I could go back and fast forward to it, but my God, I mean, you talk about excitement for a program who went top of the program, then they stunk, and now to be in the Final Four. Hey, Greg Gard, you may want to take a lesson how teams actually win in March.
Dave from Monona. That's one of Dave's best calls. I'm going to clip that. But we're teaching this generation to be mad at the umps. We absolutely are. How often do you see Tony in Texas, clips of young kids playing AAU, getting in a ref's face, whining at the ref because that's what they see Luka Doncic doing, or they hear mommy and daddy in the stands yelling about a call. It's just so dumb. I love that angle from Dave. I'll go one farther. I know that I'm in the minority here. I don't think we need ABS. I'll go one farther with CB Buckner, who, again, was so much worse. I went and saved the tweet from Codify. CB Buckner had 26 incorrect calls, balls and strikes this weekend. The next closest umpires, Tripp Gibson and Chris Siegel, had 19. Dan Iasonia and Ramon DeJesus had 16. And then the rest of the field was between 5 missed calls and 14. CB Buckner is doubling the average. So I'll meet you folks halfway. Just get rid of the horrible umpire, and that'll fix it. We can live with a couple of near misses a game, right? Now, I know not all of you agree with that. Get rid of CB Buckner. I'll even go one farther when Dave talks about the human element, which I love. It's kind of fun having one terrorist umpire. You get him once or maybe twice a summer, never in the playoffs, and it's just on that day, you're like, here we go, and you strap in, and you know something's going to go down. How many great, hilarious human moments have we got in a game that's umped by CB Buckner? Or You remember Kyle Schwarber's absolute meltdown against the Brewers with the Phillies against Angel Hernandez a couple of years ago? I don't want to lose that. You can't have more than one. You are allowed, Major League Baseball, to have one terrorist umpire, and you might get him at home plate once, maybe twice a year, and it's just enough to create content. The NFL would allow it. The NFL would have no problem with it. How many issues does the NFL have with refereeing that they just seemed completely and totally disinterested in fixing? I think it's kind of fun to have one terrorist umpire. Again, this is just my point of view. It doesn't have to be yours. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
I don't usually agree with Dave from Monona.
That was a banger phone call, Darnell. And he delivered it well, too. That was, wow.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with the umpire takes. It's just another way for the honest truth is the sports nerds to try and take over another aspect of what used to be, and I still believe is a very human and flawed game, and that is okay. Dave put it just perfectly well there. If we're going to be doing this where we're taking, not that it takes a long time or anything, right? It's
quick.
They're very efficient with how they do it, and that's not the problem. It's the fact that what used to be the letter of the law or the law, right? It's just saying, all right, the umpire said that was a strike. That's a strike, right? And that sucks. Sometimes it's good for you. Sometimes it sucks. But that's just how it worked. Now it's like, okay, well, this guy's basically walking down to first now with a walk, but actually hold the phone. They're challenging. It messes with my brain when I'm watching the game, and it might be an old man yells at clouds take, but I don't like it. Well, I'd really just rather I'd rather watch what I grew up watching. Does that make sense?
Yes, Darnell. And you know what, Darnell? You know what I'll say on your stance? Well, it might be old man yells at cloud. You need a little bit of that in sports. You need a touch of old man yelling at cloud. Otherwise, what do you get? You get the NBA and what that is right now. Oh, why do you care about players resting? It's not that big of a deal. Oh, why do you care about all the flopping? That's not that big of a deal. All of a sudden, you just have all of these things running rampant because you didn't have an old man yelling at a cloud. So you need a little bit of old man yells at cloud in each of these sports. It helps keep it in balance, keep it in check.
Well, and I also think that sometimes you can get too meticulous when you're trying to make something better, right? You can get too nitpicky. Mm-hmm. And I think that in some ways, like the pitch clock, booming success. Mm-hmm. All right. As much as it's not as cool when you're actually at the ballpark, the vast majority of us watch on the TV, and it's made it a just immensely better product.
The pitch clock has, yes.
The pitch clock.
Yeah.
I think that they took it maybe a step too far here with robot umps. And I think that it's not the end of it either.
So,
I think
that's
you know what I mean? Like, I think that this is a slippery slope, and that's the issue that I'm going to have.
Yep. Darnell, I'm going to cut you off right there because that's what I want to discuss is already today. And I've consumed a lot of baseball stuff today. I watched a lot of Major League. Well, I didn't watch. I listened to MLB Network Radio this morning, and I wanted to hear reaction to opening weekend. I was listening to Locked On Cubs. I did Locked On Brewers. All this stuff. Microbrew. Todd Rosiak episode today. But Kurt was on foul territory, so we got our dose of Kurt this afternoon. If you were really, dialed and you wanted to consume everything. A lot of people are like, all right, ABS, great. Resounding success. Here's the thing, though. What if you run out of challenges before you get to the end of the game? And then in the ninth inning, what if there's a huge missed call that decides the game? Well, we need to make it so you have unlimited challenges in the ninth, like in the NFL. They go to a booth review. It's like, okay, so we're already adding. I saw people tweeting today that ball strike calls were being overturned by the smallest wiener hair. And it's like, well, we need a buffer zone. No. You wanted to get the call right. That's what this was about. We need to get the calls right. So damn it, we're going to get the call right. You're going to sit down and you're going to accept the call being right, even if it's right by a hair, because that's what you signed up for. So we're not going to, we'll challenge it, but if it's within a certain boundary, we're going we're going to give it the ump a buffer. No, the hell we are. You wanted to get these calls right. We're getting them right. And we're already saying, well, but what if you get to the 9th? We're going to add more. We have opened Pandora's box. And baseball would be smart to say, no, you get 2. And if you want to make sure that you're not exposed to one bad call in the 9th, then save one of your challenges. And don't let one of these dumbass catchers challenge the first pitch of an inning in the 2nd or in the 3rd. What are you guys doing? If we're going to have ABS, that's fine, but then I want it to become part of the game. I don't want it to be augmented to fit the game. I need the players to fit their game to the rules of ABS. If you're so worried about being out of challenges in the 9th, then don't use all your challenges before the 9th. It's a separate part of the game, like a double switch was. Like, should we use our pinch hitter here? Should we use a pinch runner here? It's the same thing, but I'm afraid that we've just begun. And we're going to add, and we're going to tweak, and we're going to add, which will seem at the time like a very noble, obvious thing. Well, of course, we don't want a bad call in the 9th, so we're going to give an unlimited challenges in the 9th. Well, obvious. And then that's not going to be enough, so we're going to add another thing, and now it's going to become like the NFL, where we don't even know why we have certain rules, because 10 years ago, we needed a rule, and then that rule didn't take it far enough, so we added another rule. And then we augmented that rule to fit a certain time in the game, and then we don't even know what we're doing because we started and we don't know when to stop. So that's also my worry about this. And I'm just against losing the human element, as Dave so eloquently said. I actually think that was one of Dave's best calls ever. I was just sitting here smiling. That was artwork. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant Bills, what's up? It's Badger Bloody Reviews.
What's up, Badger Bloody? How are you today?
Oh, pretty good. Just enjoying this nice sunny afternoon.
Oh, I can't wait.
That honestly was a good call from Dave and a good follow-up from Darnell. And I'm going to echo Darnell's sentiment by saying I do not often see eye to eye with Dave, which makes sense.
Nobody does.
Doesn't have any.
He's blind.
But,
yes.
Correct. Yeah, the human element is an important part of the game, and I think that it is important to preserve an aspect of that. I mean, for God's sake, we need these dust-ups between managers and umpires, and who doesn't like the terrorist ump or the one referee that just has that reputation? I mean, hell, C.B. Buckner is basically Scott Foster from the association. The extender. Oh, we got the Lakers up 4 games. Oh, send in Scott. We're getting at least 5 games. Oh, the other team has been shooting foul shots. Oh, that's not going to be a problem tonight, buddy.
I agree.
But
I'll take this even farther to say I think one terrorist ump is good. You only get them once or twice in your games every year and never in the playoffs. We never let CB Buckner call balls and strikes in the playoffs. But in random games in June and July and August, let's spice up a Wednesday afternoon game by throwing some chaos in. God knows if it's going to be a ball or a strike because CB Buckner is behind the dish.
We need a heel. I think it's a nice thing to have. Now, I will say, with regards to Dave's call, he's trapping all over. Oh, it's too much technology. It's too much like, it's a video game. Well, Dave, if you don't like new technology, why don't you start not using voice to text and start hand punching Braille when you want to send a message to someone? Because guess what, buddy? The world evolves. We move forward when new technology is available. Oh, it's like with football. I'm sure people got mad when instant replay came out for that. Oh, his foot was just over the line a little bit. Give him the touchdown catch. No, that's not how it works. When we have technology to make things better, we do our best to implement those things.
So it's funny that you mentioned the voice to text for Dave. Badger Bloody, I appreciate it. Because for those, I never want to assume that everybody listening right now knows every caller in their story. Dave's blind. He's been blind forever. But Dave will tweet. And I think I know in theory how he does it, but I'm still kind of amazed that he does it. He will sit there and have his phone read tweets and then respond to them. So Badger Bloody does make a good point about technology. Dave does take advantage of a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't matter, but technology is the reason Dave gets to participate in this little community. I'm not anti-technology. We can use technology to help humans, but once we go down that road, then we start wondering why we need humans at all. And then you have the AI people like Sam Altman, who's like, well, you don't even need brains. We'll just build up our AI model, and then we'll sell knowledge back to you for a subscription fee. Great, that's dramatic. Well, yeah, but it's a sports talk radio show. What do you want? 608-321-1670. One more call, and then we got to go to break. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
This is Louis in Eau Claire.
What's going on, Louis? Great
Hey,
baseball,
Grant.
great baseball town, Eau Claire. I know whatever you're about to say will be good.
Well, so here's my thing. I actually like ABS because the player, the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher has to make an instantaneous decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind whether it's a fingernail on or off the plate. What I don't like is if there's replay and there's a staffer in a quarter zip watching a tablet to say, oh, yeah, it does look like his fingernail went off the base when he was sliding in second. Instant replay is meant to correct egregious errors. In all sports, in basketball, baseball, football, we've made it to the point where, oh, let's look at it for 20 seconds and then, let's put our hands over our ears. Let's review this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I like that ABS is an instant decision by the people on the field. I think all instant replay should be initiated by people, either the coach, a manager, or people on the field instantaneously. If it's so egregious that it needs to be changed, that should be obvious to everyone else out there. The whole idea that, oh, I don't know, did he get that toe in, Jim? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's look at it 4 times. That's not what instant replay is for. That's why I'm pro ABS. It's an instant decision by people on the field.
So I would agree. It is instant replay, Louis. Great call. Even though we kind of disagree on the principle of it all, I agree with your logic and I accept your logic. I like that a player has to tap their helmet. And then if the player is obviously wrong, and we've seen that a bunch, they kind of get a little comeuppance too. Like that player's like, ooh, oh, calling balls and strikes, not so easy. Turns out the ump isn't trying to bone you every time you're up there at the plate. Maybe I should be thankful for the ABS. It's a killer radio topic. We'll do a couple more minutes on baseball, and then I want to get to the Packers, Matt LaFleur's comments at the owners' meetings, or the league meetings, I think they're called, I believe, down in Florida. That's coming up. A lot of show left, and the Monday mailbag. So submit your questions, grantbills21, gmail.com.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills, Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
It doesn't matter who comes and who goes, especially who goes. They're just still the same team. And, they're interesting because, like, Pat Murphy has that old country flavor to him. But this is a very analytically driven team, very carefully and shrewdly put together by Matt Arnold and that front office. And their pieces always fit. There's just a plan every night. There's a plan with every move they make. And they're another team. They're really fun. It's hard to say how they're doing it sometimes, but they put the bat on the ball. They've always got the right arm in the right spot. I'm not doubting them ever again. I meant to pick them first. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
One more time, that audio from Jason Stark this morning on MLB Network. A couple of texts relating to the Brewers and ABS. We'll switch over to the Packers here. This will be a shorter segment. We'll break it a little bit after 5:30. 608-321-1670. Rockin' Rick says betting Angel doesn't like ABS. Yeah, Angel Hernandez was done not after last year, but after 2 seasons ago. They get rid of him. And I don't know how the umpiring union works. Like, I don't know what it would take for Major League Baseball to get CB Buckner removed. I don't know what it would take. I don't even know if it's possible. Maybe you reach a certain level of tenure and experience. Maybe you're just protected. I don't know. But I would caution what Tim from Sparta told us before 5 o'clock. His point of the call was, well, ABS is great because it's going to help us get these bad umps out of here. It's going to make it very clear who the bad umps are, although I would tell you that data already existed. You could go find ump scorecards. It's actually pretty easy to access. But this will make it more publicly obvious at games, assuming that these calls are challenged. And based on this last weekend, players will not hesitate to challenge calls, even if it's the second inning and it's the first hitter and it's a 0-0 count. Yeah, sure, rip a challenge. And then we want to blame the rules. Why don't have any challenges in the 9th inning? Because you used it in the second inning, you dumbass. So there will be challenges. And in these ballparks, it will be obvious if CB Buckner is having a bad day. But I don't know that means they'll be removed. I think baseball and the umpire union would say, well, the ABS is helping him, helping the players, helping the game get a couple of those calls corrected. I don't know. Jay Krebs says, I want replay out of all of sports. Part of baseball is the back and forth with the ump. Getting rid of the human element makes baseball not baseball. I think you need a little bit of that back and forth, man. You don't have it in football. You have it a little bit in basketball, but very rarely because coach will get thrown out. Which in the NBA, for whatever reason, feels like a huge deal. A manager in baseball gets ejected, and it's like, well, yeah, it's baseball. That's what happens every once in a while. But if it happens in basketball, so whoa! And certainly if it happens in football, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen it in football. I'm sure it's happened, but no example comes to mind. I mean, what even happens? Like if your head coach is your play caller, what would even happen? But in baseball, you need a little bit of that. So I don't want to lose that, which I've been saying, long before we ever started seeing ABS in games or even in the minors. I think you need a little bit of that. You can't have too much of it because the game needs to be well umpired or umpired well enough for everything to work. In order for pitchers to pitch well and hitters to hit well and the ball being in play and the defense playing and the base runners running, in order for all of that to happen in a way that's enjoyable for us, the umpiring needs to be a certain level. I think it's at that level. I don't think it's that bad. I think CB Buckner is terrible, and every once in a while you'll have a bad pitch, but you get 27 outs, you get 3 strikes, you get 4 balls. I think on balance, it's fine. I think ABS for a lot of people is just their mechanism for screaming about the officials, which we already have too much of. And this opens the door for people. Now we can shame the umpires. You guys understand there's more to life than going to your local high school basketball game and screaming about how the umpire, who's a guy that works at Fleet Farm, by the way, Like, oh, he screwed the team. He didn't screw your team, okay? The umpire does not care that much about the non-conference game over Christmas break between Black River Falls and Plum City. The referee lives in Elk Mound, and he works at a hardware store, and he does this to make a little extra money and because he loves basketball. And you people make it your bi-weekly habit in the winter to go to the gym and scream at that guy. So this ABS to me is like, it's validating that thing. And I think it's a thing that we all have that sucks. We as human beings need to be better at occasionally going, you know what? That's a tough call, but that's part of the sporting experience. God, it's frustrating, but it's part of the sporting experience. Say those words sometimes. It's a very healthy thing. This text says, I like that MLB shared these stats. It's basically a 50-50 overturn probability. Yeah, I bookmarked this from Codified too. So batters this weekend went 33 for 78, which is 42%. So batter challenges were less than 50%, pretty significantly. Catchers were the best, 59 for 92, so 64%, which isn't surprising. And pitchers very rarely challenging, which makes sense because it's falling off the mound. Can they even see? They went 2 for 5, 40%. So batters and pitchers, both well under 50%, catchers slightly above 50%. Grainman Mike says, Grant, I would love to see what pitches are for height. Altuve has a different zone than Judge. Yeah, and it's measured in spring training. They take the measurements, and that's how it works. I don't pretend to notice at all. Joe in Minneapolis just says, nice polo shirt today. Thank you, Joe. Madtown Ryan, people are funny. We complain so much about bad egregious calls. That's where instant replay came in, and now we're bitching that we lost the human element to sports. Unattended consequence. But that still makes the call correct, which is the right way to go. I don't care about getting the call correct. That's not why I watch the game. Every time says, well, don't you want to get the call right? Not if it mucks up everything else. No, I'm okay with a bad call here and there. It's part of the game. Old Fish Whistle says, did you get dressed with your eyes closed today? I think we're colluding on the text line. That seems like a good place to end this segment. I want to talk about the Packers coming up next. Matt LaFleur spoke with the media at the coaches' meetings. And, well, I'll just tease our upcoming segment by saying what I tweeted at Wisco Grant around noon today. The next time Matt LaFleur speaks and makes me feel better about the direction of the Packers will be the first time in a long time. We're going to hear a little bit from Matt LaFleur and some of the things that he shared about this previous season, which was not a success. We'll do that next. Just a couple minutes. Words from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
I mean, this is a violent player. So to answer your question, he really painted the scene there in that wild card game against Chicago, 21-3. And he said he could look into the eyes of these Bears players and see, a dread, a fear. And he said in that moment, that's when we have to learn how to stick that dagger in, right? To use Wayne Larrabee's famous line. I mean, they just lack it. And he isn't, when you read the story, he isn't just kind of spouting off on the Bears. There's plenty of that. He hates them, and that's, good for the football soul for there to be real hatred between the Packers and Bears.
It's Tyler Dunn. He's got a story, a one-on-one he got with Javon Bullard. So that's who he's talking about today, a violent player. I want to react to some things that Matt LaFleur said, the media, at the coaches' meetings earlier today down in Florida, I believe. I think they're already in Florida or always in Florida. The Monday mailbag here in about 10 minutes. So submit your questions. GrantBills21@gmail.com. The point of that segment, if you're new to the show, it's just kind of to talk about some dumb, stupid things. So you can email me a sports question. Hey, Grant, what did you think of Matt LaFleur's comments today? You can email that in, but the point is that's what we do for the rest of the show. So the mailbag segment is ask me stupid things that aren't to do with sports. Or stupid things that have to do with sports. Just make it stupid, I guess that's what I'm settling on here. So Matt LaFleur spoke today. I wasn't necessarily going to dedicate any showtime to it because I figured we'd talk Brewers, we'd talk ABS, and I assumed that we'd get lots of calls on that, and we did. So good work, everyone. But Matt LaFleur said a couple of things, and I guess the best way I can sum it up is what I tweeted earlier today. Follow me, I'd appreciate it. @Wisco Grant said, the next time Matt LaFleur speaks, it makes me feel better about the direction of the Packers. Will be the first time in a long time. I don't not like him. I don't think that the Packers should fire him, but I'm certainly trending. I'm getting less and less confident every time I listen to this guy speak. And of course, they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs again, and they blew a bunch of games. So of course I shouldn't feel great about the Packers coming off that season. But I think there's a world in which the coach takes the podium and speaks about what happened this year, and I go, oh, okay. I can buy what this guy's selling. That season didn't end well, but I think I understand why, and I have good reason to believe that this coach is the right guy to fix it next year. And I don't really know that I'm getting that from Matt LaFleur. So this is Matt LaFleur talked about a couple things, including how they couldn't finish games, and he just basically said, yeah, that's something we got to correct. Great. So I'm not going to play you that sound. This is something that he talked about unprompted. Ryan Wood tweeted about this. He said, Matt LaFleur, unprompted, points out that there were certain players that were unhappy with their roles last year and how that's something that affected the team. This isn't great audio, but I think if you lock in for a minute, you should be able to make out everything, and I will do my best to communicate or translate after we listen as well.
I think, if I'm being honest about it, I think there were some guys that were upset about roles last year, and I think that took a toll on our football team. So you need guys that bring great energy every day. I think from a coaching standpoint, role clarity is key. So we got to obviously do a better job communicating with our players. Hey, here's your role. And if you're unhappy about your role, it's on you to do something about that, to carve out a bigger role on this football team. But the buy-in is absolutely critical. Getting guys in there that are juiced, that are ready to go to work each and every day is going to be critical for us.
So I'm kind of writing down what he said. The last thing he said, getting guys in there that are juiced and excited to come to work every day is going to be important for us. Now, before we circle back to what he said about guys being upset about roles, let's dissect that part. When he says getting guys in the building that are excited about coming to work and fired up to practice is going to be important. Let me listen to that one more time.
The buy-in is absolutely critical. Getting guys in there that are juiced, that are ready to go to work each and every day is going to be critical for us.
Getting guys in there that are juiced and excited to go to work every day is going to be critical. He also says getting buy-in is critical. Now, why would he say that? This is one of my favorite parts of sports talk radio. Give me a comment from a coach and we can pick it apart. We could just pick at it. Why would you say getting buy-in is critical, getting guys in the building who are juiced and excited to come to work and to come to practice is critical? That's important for us. Why would you say that? Because last year, not all the guys were bought in. Because they weren't all juiced up. Because the buy-in wasn't there. You wouldn't say that if your entire team last year was bought in. And if your entire team last year was excited to come into work and bought in and went about business the right way, then you wouldn't say that. You say that buy-in is critical after a year where not everyone was bought in. You say getting guys in the building who are juiced to be there is going to be important following a year where not all of the guys were juiced to be there. So again, I could pick at this stuff for hours. And I don't go into Matt LaFleur pressers. I don't go into his media avails pissed off looking for something to be mad about. And a lot of you do. And again, we all watch sports differently. I mentioned this back at 4:00. I think I enjoy baseball the most when I have something to complain about. That's what I enjoy. I like my team to win, but I like having something to complain about in the win. Saturday night's game, for example, I watched DL Hall struggle to throw strikes in one at bat. And as he cruises to victory and the Brewers cruise to victory, I get to go, DL Hall sucks, and he blows and he throws trash. Trash man, mop up duty. I need something to complain about in baseball. I don't watch football that way, but I know many of you do. As I joked earlier, again, back at 4:00, I think a lot of you, I think most of the people who watch football that way call and text Bill's show because I hear from you and I see your messages and your comments. I don't go into these Matt LaFleur veils upset and angry and looking to pick them apart. I listened to these comments from Matt LaFleur today and I went, well, wait a minute. Now, there's a certain standard from LaFleur I'm looking for because they lost 5 in a row and blew a bunch of leads and you got clowned by your rival. I need to be worked a little bit here, okay? I need to be sold. Sexy it up for me. Dress it up. This to me was an important avail because I think this is the first time Matt LaFleur was available since his end-of-year presser, which was in January. I think. He wasn't at the combine. He didn't speak at the combine. I don't think he's done anything. And if it has, it's been very small. This is the first time Bisaccia is out. Gannon's in. Hargrave's in town. Like, things have happened. You are speaking. Sell me. And to say, well, the buy-in is critical. We're going to have to get guys who are juiced. That's going to be important to get guys who are juiced in the building and excited to be there. You wouldn't say that unless the guys weren't juiced last year. You wouldn't say that unless guys last year weren't bought in, which does not make me feel good. That does not make me feel good. Why were guys not bought in last year? The team just traded for Micah Parsons, for God's sake. Everyone in that building just said, this is a Super Bowl team. I'm here to kick ass and chew nails. And you're telling me there was a big portion of the team that wasn't? Now, the other thing that he said, and then we have time to take a couple calls here. He talked about guys not being happy with their roles. The first half of that. I bet there's guys on every team who are unhappy with their roles. That's part of having a deep, talented roster. No problem. If Matt LaFleur tells me, yeah, there were a couple guys on the roster last year who weren't totally happy with their roles, I don't look at that as an indictment on Matt LaFleur. Now, what he then said, he said, I'll just play the first half of that comment again. Guys, I'm not making stuff up here. I'm reacting to what LaFleur's saying.
I think, if I'm being honest about it, I think there were some guys that were upset about roles last year, and I think that took a toll on our football team.
If I'm being honest, there were some guys unhappy about their roles, and I think it took a toll on the football team. It's the second part that's not okay. That's an indictment on the coach. There are players in every NFL locker room said, coach doesn't appreciate me. I should be getting those reps. I should be starting. Every locker room in football, even on the best coach teams, there's those guys. It's the coach's job to make sure it doesn't become a problem and it doesn't take a toll on the team. So Matt LaFleur there, he's just telling on himself, in my opinion. You couldn't communicate with those guys and reach them. Now, I agree with what he said. If you're unhappy with your role, it's on you to do something about it. Totally. Because I am the agency in a lot of these situations is on the player. I'm not removing blame for the player, just putting it on the head coach. But when Matt LaFleur says, I think there were some guys unhappy with their role, understandable. And it took a toll on the team. That's a you problem. That's bad coaching. That's bad leadership. That's bad communication. So again, Matt LaFleur speaks, and I just always end up feeling worse about the direction of this team, at least recently. 608-321-1670. 2 calls here, and then we'll get to the mailbag. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Ridge Runner, Mark. How are we doing?
Good evening, Ridge Runner.
So, real quick on this Matt LaFleur thing, I don't disagree with everything you're saying because he didn't really tell us a lot, but don't we chalk this up to Matt LaFleur always wanting to be an oppressor and not create problems and keep things even keeled?
Yep.
Keep everything close to the vest.
Be very boring.
Is that part of the frustration?
That's what Clemens always says. That Matt just doesn't ever want to make a headline. Yep.
Right. And I mean, I liked what he said where most of the onus, I mean, yes, he did say, players got to step up and work for the roles they want, but he did also kind of highlight, we got to communicate better, coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And is that something he's always said? Is that something like it's a repeat of, hey, you say this every year and it never gets better? Or is this something new that maybe he's figured out and we'll have to wait and see? I mean, I'm glass half full guy, so
sure.
I don't know.
And Ridge Runner, sorry, I got to run. So if you had something else, we'll have to do it later this week. I have never known Matt LaFleur to nail anything the first time. He always needs to so maybe that was this year. It's like, hey, in my 7th year of coaching, I learned I need to communicate roles. And next year that might be fine. But knowing Matt LaFleur and following this team, then next year there will be something else that comes up for the first time and he will biff it. And then in the future, he'll get it. But then the next, you know what I mean? It's like trying to keep 2 dogs in a bathtub. Bail out a rowboat when it's raining. You're never going to get where you need to go with this guy. Again, I'm not even the most anti-Matt LaFleur guy in the world. By the way, Sean McVay today said, we explored trading Davante Adams. We thought maybe that would be what's best for our team, and we kept Davante Adams in the loop out of respect to him. We decided it's not best, but we remained, community. I just listened to McVay, and I'm like, well, that's a way stickier situation than Dontavian Wicks or Malik Heath not getting reps. And McVay seemingly navigated it well. Imagine that. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. It's Rob from Madison.
Hey, Rob. What's going on?
Well, I was just thinking about buy-in here, right? And I think back to Mike Clemens' comment from an anonymous player at the end of the season. I think it was after the Ravens lost.
Yep.
And he basically said, from this anonymous player, yep, we're going to lose next game, and then we're going to lose first round in the playoffs.
And then we're done. Yep.
That's just a problem. And then you juxtapose that with, I know, cross-category. We're going to Brewers here. But Pat Murphy, right? Guys want to play for him. Guys don't want to play for LaFleur. I hate to be the guy calling it like Bill's show and hating on LaFleur, but
well, no, and those people aren't bad. And Rob, I'm sorry I'm up against it. That's an awesome call, and thank you. I just got to cut it short. They're not bad sports fans. It's just funny. The negative Packers people seem to call Bill's show, and the negative Brewers people seem to call my show. It's just funny how that works. That's a great example. Pat Murphy has created this thing where when we're down a bunch of runs, we don't quit. I hate to cross sports because it doesn't always apply, but Matt LaFleur seemingly lost his team when the whole team said, well, we're too hurt to win a Super Bowl, so why even bother trying to win another game? That's basically how I read that situation, that thing that Clemens shared with us, which is a problem because that's not what happened with the Niners. My turn of phrase was the Niners and the Packers both saw the writing on the wall. They were too hurt to win a Super Bowl. But the Niners didn't stare there at the wall and read it. They just played football and kept playing football until they couldn't anymore. Packers players were like, we see the writing on the wall. Yeah, F it. Which is a problem, an indictment on the coach. We'll get to the Monday mailbag. Your questions, grantbills21@gmail.com next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
So we'll resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Because the mail never stops.
Charles, we'll be writing to you. She's Got Mail. That's the name of the movie.
That's it, honey. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
All right, Monday Mailbag. It's plump. Got to hurry. GrantBills21@gmail.com is the address. Let's start with Christian. Says, Grant, I was doing some house projects this weekend, and the Jimmy Buffett cover of Southern Cross popped up on Shuffle. After not hearing that song for some time, I was reminded how good it is, despite it not being better than the original. What are your thoughts on that specific cover or covers in general? That cover is badass. The best one is on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. The original is one of the greatest songs of all time. I agree. I actually listened to it yesterday on a walk. Such a good song. Thoughts on covers? I mean, we could talk about that for a full segment. Jimmy Buffett has great covers. Uncle John's Band on Fruitcakes is awesome. And his Scarlet Begonias cover on License to Chill is legit badass. Not just like, oh, he did a Dead song. Like, it's really good. Like, Sonny Landreth plays the hell out of it. It's awesome. So, Buffett covers, yes, very pro. He picks them very well. Big Ron says, if you were going to die tomorrow, what would be your biggest regret? Dude, I don't know. I mean, not much I can do about it, but I guess maybe never having I don't have a kid. That's something that I would like to experience before I die. But also, like, if I learn I'm going to die tomorrow, I'm not going to look back and be like, I can't believe I didn't have a kid at 19. I'm not ready to have a kid. So I guess that'd be my biggest regret, but I'd be able to live with that regret, which maybe means it's not a regret. Sorry, Ron, that's the best I can do. Tyler in Massachusetts, always a good question asker. Hi, Grant. Somewhere between Italy and Poland, thieves stole a cargo shipment carrying 12 tons of Kit Kat bars recently. Is Kit Kat bar the most worthy for this heist to occur? And if not, what candy is? Well, Kit Kats are great. I mean, pound for pound, Twixes are pretty great because they're the only candy bar with that cookie crunch. I'm just thinking if I could have a candy bar right now, which one would I want most? I also, a deeper cut, if you will, a bench player, a bench candy bar for most. I love a whatchamacallit. Great candy bar, and I think pretty underrated. And there's good longevity. It's hefty. It's packed. So it's going to last you a while. It's not like 3 bites and it's gone. And it's got a little bit of it. It's got the peanut butter, the crispy, a little bit of the cookie, the chocolate. It's chewy, but there's also a little crunch. Like the fast break just eats like you're eating a bar of tar. It's good, but there's no crunch. So I whatchamacallit. Ben says, what did you order at Johann's? Yeah, I went to Johann's in Richford. I got a cheeseburger for $5 with onion rings, and it was awesome. I love bars like that because I can drink for hours and spend like $25, or get a burger for $5 or $6. That's how much things should cost, by the way, Ben. Johann's was fun. We'll go back. I was fly fishing around there. So, and if you know where Johann's is, you're like, oh, I know exactly what river, but I don't dead name rivers on the air or on social media. It's bad form. Goose Eggs, Lee in the Western City says, this is the last one. Aside from you being wrong on the ABS and pitch clock takes, which I forgive you for, great show today. Are you sad to see your beverage buddy Nick Boyd leave Madison, or are you relieved because you can let your guard down? Love the show. You have made this incident. Kate, Austin, and I bumped into Nick Boyd, and Nick Boyd did not like that I took a picture of Kate. Kate was talking to Nick Boyd. We were trying to go to a bar, and Kate was like, I'm going to get Nick Boyd to come with us. So she's badgering Rhodey and Boyd, and I'm waiting with Austin, and I'm like, so I took a picture because I was going to show it to Zach. Like, look, Kate's dragging us down, and Nick Boyd thought I was like paparazzi him, which in hindsight is fair. But it's not like we had it out. He just like gave me a look. He's like, dude, really? I'm like, well, it's more to drag Kate than to be like, look, it's Nick Boyd in the wild. So I don't know that answered the question, Goose Eggs. It's funny that that's an incident that keeps coming up. It's not really an incident. More of an anecdote than an incident. There is a difference. Enjoy baseball tonight because we have baseball. Yes. Kyle Harrison's debut. If he shoves and Durbin continues to suck, that trade gets very juicy and interesting. I'm going to have to see what they're saying about him in East Coast Sports Talk Radio. Have a great night. Podcast will go up in just a couple minutes. Very fun show. Thank you for calling. Have a great night.